Everything is numerology. It is the number 11 as with Jesus, or the number 5 as with Christ. So why not join me, Crime Queen, on this journey as we are moving into this new creation of the 5th dimension. Okay, beautiful ignited souls, I am Crime Queen, your partner in crime. Now you may be wondering, what crime are we about to commit? Of course, because it does not sound too good. It seemed like it would be a crime for us to discover the things that we are discovering on this channel, because no one else speaks of things like we do on here. And so I hope you appoint me as your partner in crime, meaning that you need to subscribe to my channel and do all the things that makes us United Souls. Why are we United Souls? Because we are on this path of the 5th dimension, understanding that life is a journey, and of course now we are on this direction of the new creation. Now, why am I feeling qualified to say that I am your partner in crime? In my awakening from pain of abuse of all sorts to self-discovery and self-worth and self-love, self-acceptance, this is something that I feel has exposed me to a range of experiences that gives me the confidence to do so. Coming from a Christian background, of course, I have been baptized twice, actually, because I felt I really needed some absolution and, so the gods could recognize me, not realizing that the gods had been within me all along. They said, oh, God is everywhere, but not necessarily inside of you or something like that. Anyway, what I want to invite you is that you come on this journey with me, where I decompact, deconstruct, decode the Bible in the sense of really giving us new meaning or fresh meaning through the eyes of numerology. Why numerology? Well, if you do the numerical value for numerology, it equals 55. 5 plus 5 is 10. That would be something like Adam, like hell, like Satan, like heaven. All these equal 10. But it's not just about that. We could tell you, for instance, 10 is masculine and feminine, and it's the seed for creation. Just to give you a little glimpse of this. It's easy to spot, because it's like your 10 digits and one hand is more dominant than the other. Of course, that's it. Why not join me, Crime Queen, on this journey as we are moving into this new creation of the 5th dimension? Why not join us so we can know how to nourish ourselves, how to ignite the codes within us, because Christianity teaches us that you are the Word, and they are right about this. You are the Word, and Michael Jackson and said, we are, but I can show you this through. So it's a lot about ingestation, food, and so on. Things that are there in plain sight, people. Join me, join me, join me. Okay. Having said that, it's time for a tea break. So while we are doing that, we are breaking the law of silence and whatever else happens. But I subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and hit the notification bell so you would be, of course, one of the first to, of course, delve in this tea time. Oh, wonderful. Okay, beautiful ignited souls. So I am wanting to show like the correlation of Genesis and Android 12. And so I looked at 12 and I actually realized that 12 is 74, meaning 1 equals 7 and 2 equals 4. Adding these, this is 74, and adding them together is 11. This really is like the Jesus, Now, Christians, if you're watching this, please just bear with me, because we want to show that how the polarities or extension of something gets transmitted or transformed, or like the Transformers, if you like, Terminator, Transformers. So it's like we could take flour and bake a cake, a muffin, and do all kinds of things with it. And that's what I really want to show. But then flour is still flour. And so the numerical value of that which we are looking at gives us the origin through the numerical value. Before we begin, let's have a tea break. And while we are sipping on our delicious tea, why not hit that notification bell so you can be one of the first to view and of course like and subscribe in the process. There is something about being first. Okay, just say yes. Now, this is really, I'm going to put this here. This is Genesis, which equals 33. I think it's best I break this down in a series of videos so people can really get it, because if you like, because we are united souls, the us ship. Okay, so we have 14 goals, and just briefing you here of what this entails, because this is like an anchor, or this is like a template. Apart from the sacrifice template where we have discovered, of course, we have worked with the 26 letters of the alphabet and 9 numbers, which is the template of our language, you could say. But it has taught us a lot in the sense of the word sacrifice, because the word sacrifice equals 46. 4 plus 6 actually is 10, and that tells us again, gives us that 12 we have been talking about. But even if we looked at 10 as 1 0, 1 equals 7, and the naught also equals 4. So we are still talking about 74, which is synchronicity. So the sacrifice was all synchronistic, if you like. Everything that we read about in the story of Jesus, whether he had a kiss, whether it was the Last Supper, the disciples, the cock would crow, and all of those things, they were all in this synchronistic event. Of course, he knew or foresaw a lot of things would happen, but not to the extreme where he said, Father, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? So we see the word synchronicity equals 74, but it shows up in our magic number, you could say, of the number that is the seed, male and female, as number 10, meaning everything comes from that. It shows us how, a male and female, father and mother, or two get together and birth something new. Now, even in the number 12, as I say, of course, we see the same thing. So basically, 10 and 12, like in the very first word that casts, where the spell is cast, which is let. The very first word, let, equals 10. Of course, when you do the numerical value for the word 10, it equals 12. So we see there is the number 2, and if you like 11 and 3 coming together all in here as number 5 wrapped up together. And this is where we know all of creation is right there. Now, let's take a breather. Okay, but I want to really show you the deliciousness of this. The very first book of the Bible, Genesis, which is it speaks of the origin of mankind, of creation, of everything. That's where we go for our manual for life. We go into the history, and also we learn about how to create. We are still doing that or learning, because there's nothing in as much as we have all of this that just says, okay, if you do this, do this, do this. If you do this, yeah, but you feel you're still having to discover things that were within you to realize who you are. It's just like the story of Job. He was a righteous man, but there was a lot happening until the end, when he said, aha, it was more like a aha moment to say, I have heard of God and I have done this, but I had not seen before. I had not seen, or I had not heard it like this. So there's that process. Okay, so because I want to actually give these in bite sizes, I'm doing an overall give you an overall introduction to this. I'm wishing I had my feather here. Okay, I got one. Okay, so basically we have discovered the 14 gods, and these are the 14 gods here. I just really would like you to see what I have seen, and it may take a while, but because I have processed these myself in different ways, I do understand. This column, for instance, here is the column of the number of letters for each of the gods. And of course, I have stated the gods in the sets of the two creations, meaning Genesis of chapter 1 and Genesis of chapter 2. We discovered first 9 gods and then another 5 gods. So this coincides with 9, as in the word beginning, which equals 9, and 5, which equals 5, which equals end. And when it is said, and God ended. So God ended, but things happen after an ended happen here. So this ending, you could imagine, for instance, like someone end a phase of a project or something, or you build a house or something, but then you probably get other people to come and do the cleaning, the finishing, or whatever it is like that. You think they come to help, they may break something, they may do something, they may really help, but anyway, that's the God's hair. Now this is where it is said, and God ended, and there was the formation happening, and there was the cause God, and there was the breathe God. And it equals 9, because 9 again is beginning. Whether it was in or out, you're breathing, that is the and planted, because God planted the man in the garden after they had eaten of the fruit of good and evil, or whatever it is, the tree of life. And so there we have this. So I'm just giving you a briefing on this, because I feel this is the step for us to begin to understand this is not just a joke. This is actually what is in your DNA. This is actually what the construct of who you are. This is what is waiting for you to ignite from within you. This is the awakening right now, and that's why the gods are instructing me, or being a conduit, to actually show you this, and so we all can grow together, because I'm not on this journey on my own. Okay, so amount of letters, people. Let's just take like the main stories of the Bible that we know. Let's look at Moses, because of course that is perhaps one of the first. Oh, why are we going to Moses? We could look at Abraham and Adam and Eve, but we will just explore this and just give you a briefing. So we know, or we learn, for instance, the number 4 or 40 years in the desert and so on with Moses. We also learn that Moses, the name Moses equal 8. And of course, Aaron, the high priest, equal 22. That would be 4. So of course, these two together, they came together. 4 plus 8 would be 12. And that would be just like, let there be light, and there was light. That was a creation happening there. So the words are spelled out, and of course if something is spelled out, it's you don't know how far it goes, how far it travels. It gets planted, it grows, and you have to nurture it. It's just like planting a garden. So anyway, I think there's a, not I think there is some spelt, some herbs or something. Okay, but I'm saying this to show that this is every story you have encountered in the Bible. Every story. They may use the numerical value back to front, like 8 equals 31 and father and son, but it's really the same as far as I have seen. So this is our anchor. And this is going to be our new ABC, if you like. You know, I hope I'm still learning it. But, you know, that's what it is about. Okay. So created God, of course, 7 letters, which indicate the 7 days of creation, including the day of rest. And equals 11, of course, 11 is indicating the 2, which is 2 creations. And that is, of course, 2 as in 11. If you did the word for 11, it equals 9. It's like saying, of course, that follows here, the breathe and the planted. That is for new creation to be coming up to the surface. Here on the second God, we have the moved God. Of course, nothing happens without you doing something, whether you breathe, there is the move, but that is the number 5, which means that when we hear in the beginning, God created, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. So we learn that the word move equals 5, and 5 is key, 5 is Christ, 5 is Eve, 5 is Kundalini, 5 is right here moved, 5 is made, equals made. When Sarah, of course, mother of nations, gave her maid to her husband. People, this is another side of the story, but she gave her maid to her husband. This is the key right there. Okay, but we won't go into that story right now. It's a little bit complex, but I hope you get it. Then we have the number of the values in this row. What I want to show people that in this story, right here, we have the 9 gods, which of course, in the first chapter of Genesis, and God blessed them. After he created God, man, woman, whatever, he blessed them. Behold, I have given you everything. Every tree growing seed. Behold, I have given you every. But in the second creation, it's like there is where there is a clause, but you should not touch this or eat it or whatever. There is another clause. So this is the shadow effect, or the other. Again, it's like someone has created something, build a house and so on, and it is complete. Look, you go on and you can, live there for as long as you want or something. And then the other partners come in, because they're the other partners. They says, yeah. But now that we have fixed this and that and put whatever, the windows or the finishing, you shouldn't do this. You can enjoy it, but don't break this, don't do this, and so on. So there's the clause here. So they actually did partner with the first set of gods. They are actually the 14 gods. Now, if you watch Humans, see on trying to remember his name, the black guy, not Max. Max is the tall one. Fred, when the man says, oh, he's the real McCoy, I'm not sure if that's the term he used, but when he caught Fred and he says, no, Fred, you are different, but Fred had the number 41 on his chest, on his belly is number 41, which is the same as the word universe. So I mentioned this to let you know that everything, as the Spirit of God moved, there is a reflection that was being showed to us. This reflection, just like we are here right now, we are reflecting each other. And Of course, even after I have switched off from this present video or recording, I'm still reflecting. We are still in communication. So this is the universe with us right there. This is how we are. This is how we are created. And of course, I did a video on W, which is another. I would urge that you watch that as well. So while I say that, may I remind you, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, please like, and so we can continue growing, okay, and learning. Now, so having done the values on these, so the 9 gods, for instance, come to 46 in the number of letters. Remember, people, that I have done or showed a lot about the letters in past videos, but there are actually all this creation here actually happened or used 78 letters. Now I have a tarot deck right here, and the standard or standardized tarot deck gives you 78 cards. This is not by chance. Again, if we check with the Psalms, particularly Psalms 119, all this is actually in Psalm 119, but people don't know it. Now I come up with the number 4 because I feel that there is some message there, which is what we are going to, I was just about to go into number 4. Of course, I'm psychic. Okay, so we are now saying the number of letters come to 46. This is the crucifixion, the word sacrifice that Jesus Christ did. So I can't take the boards to show you up and down, because as we go along, we're going to show you, we're going to do this in bite sizes that we hope you can get. Perhaps I'll do each god again, which I know I have done, but again, I'm going, as I get better, I'll know how to label things in a way or teach better and so on. So 46, the word sacrifice comes to 46. Basically, this is saying that the sacrifice, all this created, moved, said, remember, Jesus was a lot about all of this. And this is what Jesus, in fact, not Jesus, but the Christ now. This is hair, this God's hair. Adding the numerical value here now comes to 32. That is to say that that was the examination, if you like, for Jesus. Yes, he has done the sacrifice, and the sacrifice is to attain, to actually overcome or work to be able to form or cause or breathe, master the art, if you like, of self-love, which is what I call it, by handling all this. Basically, he found the key. And here's this has 1 5 here, another 5 here. So even in the tarot deck, the Hierophant, for instance, which I'm a Taurus, has the 2 keys here, like a 5 here and a 5 there. I didn't work this out before, but I'm just saying it. There is something about looking this way. Okay, now there is also so much more, but I want to point out, and I'm going to do this again, people. Look at the series of numbers. The number missing here, but these are the number of letters I want to show you on the value. So we have 1, 2. This is considered 2. Then we have 3. We do not have 4. We have 5. We have 6, 7, 8. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And of course, instead of having 9, which we don't have, we have 2 3s. So that is showing something like the 8 breaking together. This is why I deliberately left a gap here. But more than ever is to show, as I have showed, the 8 cycles where 7 days of creation, including the day of rest. And on the 8th is where God says, let us make man in our image after our likeness. This comes to the 40. This is the 4 foundation which is happening here. So all of this is where the 4 shows up. It does not show up in the sequence of numbers 1 to 8. It comes here to show you the 40 days, like with Jesus, like with Noah, like with Moses, like with whoever else was fasting and praying, and all this 40, that's what it is about. So that this, when they are fasting and praying, this is what the people are doing with the fasting and praying. So basically 40 is like a process. It is, that's why we have the number 13. We call it the ground. This is what it's planting. The number, we get the indication here, number 13, which equals 4. So it's showing us right here the significance of 4. It's saying this is a foundation that is necessary to build, so you can then handle this masters. This is going to be your masters. Again, this comes to 38. I'm trying to remember. There was of course you will see, you will make the connections with 38. 3 plus 8 is 11. Again, this of course this is your masters. One is doing their masters right here. What are you doing your masters in? Which of the gods are helping you with your masters? Ask of the gods, but you have to know the gods. It's knowing the gods. It's knowing what bless means. You know, you hear bless you, but there's a past tense. Is, you know, when is it necessary? When are you going to acknowledge it? Here it has 7 letters, but it also equals 3. What does it mean? 7 and 3 actually have a strong connection, because the word 7 equals 20, which is 2, and also the word 3 equals 11, which is 2. Another thing I wanted to show, of course, we have seen the sacrifice showing here. We have seen the process of where Jesus would pray for 40 days and 40 nights or fast. And also here, when we do the numerical value for these words here, people, you can see the words like 1 to 1, 5, 6, 7, 3, 1, 5, 8, 3. Though they are different and in different order, but they do give us a uniformity here that I could not, in my little lame way, conjure up this. And that's why I really want people to see this and know that there is a deeper knowledge yet to be revealed to each and every heart. But it is by exposing our minds, our attention to this, that when we go to sleep, of course, the gods, each god communicate with you on your level, in your unique language, and so you act and behave accordingly and do your bit in the universe, the university of life. That's how I call it. Okay. So adding all this together gives us, people, 166, that is 13. 13, and this is why many years ago when I started this, I say many years ago, I embarked on 13 sign astrology. Those days, this guy was teaching something really heavy, and I was coming across this number 13 quite a bit. I'm thinking this guy is saying something, because the word he, and he created, and God created, and he, and all of those I was getting in the scriptures. I'm thinking, but this is number 13. You know, this is got a death value to, or, you know, death, life and death. And he created. Who is the he? The he is 13. Okay, so right here, 166. which of course I was thinking first of all had something to do with the 66 books of Moses, but let's look at this. But this is 13. Of course, 1 plus 3 is 4. I put it here, going this side. When we add, I want you to again really observe there is like a cycle. It almost looks like the spiral or the caduceus or a circle. You could imagine a circle, and this is coming full circle. So again, it's the set. The set, people, I could not. Hey, set. The set God. Remember, this is where we have that cycle of let there be light. It comes onto the 8 because God has made man in his image, and of course, he has rested. The word rest equals 8 as well. And there is the set. This is where in Matthew, the book of Matthew, he begins to give the genealogy of Jesus in the number 17, 1 plus 7, which equals 8. Like God equals 8. So here we have this, here we see 8. This is why you break 8. Breaking 8 is like 2 3s. We're talking about spirit of sound mind, and of course breaking this like a link. Breaking free. And of course, this is 31. This is where Jesus on the cross with 31, because the word Father equals 31, and it says, this is where he's creating. He's actually creating. Father, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? Father, Father, he is forming, spelling the magical word, which would be 31 31 or 4 4, forming that 8. That's why Christians, one of the reasons why they tell you that 8 is the number for Jesus. Okay, I'm seeing an 8 on here. Okay, for Jesus, and 8. So we get this here. Now I want to show you, this is my pride, in the sense of it's not my pride, but it confirms to me that ordinarily is something that I would not have just, this is synchronicity. We are speaking of synchronicity. This is all this happens synchronistically. And that is what I feel, because we are created that way. We can only really continue to create in the likeness of that which we were created. So here we have 2 7 6 4 going down this way. This is the middle. This is 4 here, which is where the God saw. It's like God saw, which is 4. And of course we see that there's a demarcation. Okay, 2 7 6 4. Then we have 2 7 6 4. Get it? And this is where now in this bless, because that's where the bless, actually the bless happen, where division actually, or if you like, or differences, or the seed of differentiation was planted in the less, to say be less. Because to be less of something, it was then creating to say from now on here, which is birthing something, to be less. There is a 7 here, which the letters is also like let us in itself, saying be less. And it says multiply, replenish, subdue, be fruitful, and have dominion. I didn't say it in order, but this is what happened right there. And of course with 3 again, having the number 11 is showing us where we are beginning this cycle of creation again. Right there, people, right there. So I'm giving you this introduction to see how this template, what is expected of us to actually pay attention to So we see the number 11 and we think, oh yeah, 11 or whatever. But it's actually asking you, saying, okay, what am I meant to create right now? You don't have to go thinking about, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. No, just ask the God, created God, what am I meant to do right now? Show me. Just like, because that is part of your makeup. Also, what I do is to say, I want all the gods, the 14 gods, to work in unison with the intention. If I have an intention, if I'm working on something special or something that I feel I want help with, I would like all the gods to work in unison, be in agreement. Are you all in agreement with that intention? Is it beneficial? If not, let me know. If it's going to be, let me know. And because I want unity right here. It's like loving to eat something, but it may not agree with you. Or you may eat or have some. It's just making sure that you are doing enough, or you may have one of the gods working for you and doing something, and another is protecting you. It's like you're doing something with your right hand, but your left hand is holding something steady, so it's protecting you. Okay. Another thing we see here, and this is where we think that these gods, the interference of these gods, are what we need to master with the number 38. And these are the 5 gods that I believe, according to how I've been so guided, is that because we see there is not the same sequence here, but we need to kind of find a way to work with that sequence or with these gods here to be able to say yes and have because they also represent the serpent people. The 14 gods, they actually, it's like the android, which is where I began with this all of what I'm saying here, to show like android and Genesis. So basically Genesis, as I said, and I'm going to show you briefly 1 which is what I'm going to do here, 33, and we have 38 here. Have you seen how Android exemplifies the master number 11
this is
as
saying
Jesus?
To us again, this is the gods right here.
When we add all this together, we get the mirror image of, we have 46 here and we have 64 right here. So you can see in the 5 gods, having the numerical value here, although these are letters, and I'm not sure if it's letters that I have done here, letters 32, which equals Christ. Christ is 32, and so Christ have the 32 letters. It'd be interesting to see about the disciples and letters. So Christ have overcome all this here, and of course we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again if we added these all together, okay, or in a separate thing. And so we see we have 5 here. So this is Christ. Jesus is 11. So here we have, you would say Jesus Christ. The value and the letters. Jesus would be 11 and Christ. And this is what it is, people. That's what it's about. So here as we said, this is foundational. This is the foundation here. This is the process, the value of the fasting, praying, and everything happened here. This is the crucifixion. Getting ready for the crucifixion, which is the number of letters. And here, of course, we have seen 6 plus 6, which is 12, which is what I wanted to speak on again. And this 6 here, of course, is showing when we do the number of letters here, number of letters, or this is the value, by the way, sorry, the value, which is 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. So we have the raw number of letters, which comes to the value, sorry, in the big form, the mother, 1, 2, 3, and this is where it comes to 24, like 24 hours a day and 24 whatever else. If we do the numerical value for 2, it's actually 4, and 4 is 6. So we see we have 46 here repeated here again. That's in word form. So I just thought I would brief you on this to show you that this is not all of the videos that I'm doing. They're not just things that ideas I just bring about. They are, yes, synchronistically given to me because I'm a conduit of this information, a divine information. But when I get this and I think, oh, how did I get this? Then I also always have to go and check this, and this is why sometimes it takes a while to even see, oh, but something's happening here. It took me a while to see the uniformity of these numbers here. So it's so much to absorb, but it's such a deliciousness. I am hoping that you are salivating on this as well. Okay, so United Souls, I feel I have said quite a bit here, and to show that how the number 4 is so foundational. When we speak of the 14 gods are your foundation as well. One of the things I hadn't done is to show how 14, 1 is 7, and 6 is 4 is 6, so that means it's 76 added together gives us 13, and 13 of course in very many ways gives us not only 4 and not only 6 but also 9, but we'll show you more on that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap this up, and we will go back to it in a sense of showing you the Android and Genesis. Check out our synchronicity and random. So it's actually 74, but it's the mirror image, and so I have been doing a lot with number 74. Okay, so we are looking at Genesis, Genesis, and which is 33, 3. So 3 is like this, THREE, which I have showed in different ways. It's the same letters as he, HE, her, HER, THE, HERE. All of this is creation happening in 3. But basically this is like process, but I wanted to show you the incubation. The real numbers are actually 4, 7, 6, 2. Okay, so we'll do this another time. So this is 11 and this is 11 because this comes to 29. Okay, 2 plus 9, 11. Then we have Android, ANDROID, which both equals 7 letters as well, 7 letters, of course, because again the word 7 or 7 here, and they both have an I. This is an I here, and it would be good to see what we could cancel out with those, but this is 4, 9. Trying to recognize my handwriting here. 4, 5, 1, 1, 5, 4, 9, 6, 9, 4. Okay, so that's 15. Hold on, that's 15, 24, 28, 29, 34, and 38. 38 equals 11. So people, we just did 38, which would be the ended God, ENDED, cause, CAUSED, formed, FORMED, and breathe, BREATHED, and planted, PLANTED. These are the gods that are being given to us to substitute the gods through Android. And so I have am back on this again. Remember as well, people, look, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is also in the humans. There's 41 on the clock. And there's also with the humans series on Netflix, which I'm watching. I'm late in the day on it, but however, never mind. And of course, you could see that they had the 5 hexagon or something, yeah, but they had the 5 figures, and of course this representing the androids, they which are in their consciousness, basically humans in this form of that program is showing us how these gods actually worked with the 9 gods, or how they are happening. This is so cleverly done. So I hope you get this, and we will be working on this again. So why we show you the hair 11, this is it here. You could see we have 11 here again. So Genesis is 1 1, this is a 3. Whenever we have this, we are talking about 11 11. We also have the android as 11. Your 1 1, if you did 1, is actually 7. Another 1 here is actually 7. So in Genesis here was already telling us of the 2 creations. The 2 creations happen simultaneously. And so with the android here, we have this here. I don't know, they may come up, which I feel they will be showing, because there was more than 5, another one who was replicated or something, to show maybe how the other 11 or the other value 11 happens in humans. But I feel it's going to happen, and this is what I really want to show. We may touch on this again. They both are of 7 letters, of course, really reflecting the 14 gods again. So I was going to see what letters they have in common, and to see what sense we can make of it. So let me write android in a way that I can understand. Android. I'm looking at the time. Okay, so we have the eye. You can see the eyes are in the same position here. I. So let's cancel this. I. And then we have N. Okay, they're not in, and so we have I and N. People, this does not happen by chance. What is the first word of the Bible? In the beginning. What is the value of this? Before I go on, let me just double check, because I don't see another letter that is in common here. There is no D, no R, no what. Yeah. So this is it here. So this is 9 and this is 5. Beginning and end. Just like we have with the gods I've showed you in Genesis of chapter 1, there are 9 gods, and Genesis of chapter 2, 5 gods. Of course, adding them together becomes 14. And of course, all Eve, EVE 14. So I hope you enjoy this, because I think that is like phenomenal, even if I say so myself. Okay, people, leave your comments. Share this video, people. Please share the video. I know it's we're going to break them down again in bite sizes, just have it as though it were your your anchor. You can make reference to it again, and so on. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and share, and stay ignited.